So let's go ahead and talk about Against the Storm. It does sit overwhelmingly positive on Steam, 95% over 18,000 reviews. It is a roguelite city builder. It sounds like kind of mixing oil and water until guess what? You actually begin playing it. I put in about 30 hours, infinite replayability from randomized biomes, blueprints, and modifiers, a genuinely unique fantasy setting, and real tension balancing the Queen's impatience against the clock. Stick around till the end of the video. I'm going to give you my honest verdict along with the score out of 10. I can tell you, though, it was a great time, but it's not going to be a game that's going to be for everyone. Welcome back. I am F5 Dad. This is the 4 a.m. verdict, and I do want to give a heads up to everybody. My Tuesdays are going to be shifting from weekly Steam deals to bi-weekly, with deal videos still coming for major special sale events. In their place, I am going to provide more full reviews like this one, complete honesty, and 45 years of gaming experience behind every one of my opinions. And let's get into this. So here's the setup. You're the viceroy sent out by the Scorched Queen to reclaim the wilderness for the smoldering city. The world's stuck in this endless rain they call the Blight Storm, and your job is building settlements that can actually survive it. You've got different species to work with: humans, beavers, lizards, foxes, harpies, and each one's got different needs and specialties. That's the city builder half. The twist is the other half. This is also a roguelite. Here's what makes it weird, but in a very good way. Every settlement you build is a run. You draft your starting buildings from random set of blueprints, you manage resources, you keep your villagers happy enough to hit the queen's orders, and the run can end. Win or lose, that settlement's done permanently. But here's the part that had me hooked. Losing doesn't end the game. You've got this permanent progression layer called the Citadel that carries forward between runs, upgrades, unlocks. All of it sticks around, even when an individual settlement doesn't make it. Now, I do need to be honest with everybody about the other side of that randomness. This game is going to lean hard on RNG. Your biome, your blueprints, your modifiers, all randomly generated every single time. When that's working in your favor, it's genuinely pretty exciting. When it's not, I've had runs that felt basically unwinnable before I even got going, and that's the real frustration I came across when playing this game. It's just not about the difficulty spike. Now, when you think about your villagers and resources, the city builder side is legitimately deep. You're not just slapping down houses. You're going to map production chains, feed different species with different preferences, balance what everyone actually wants against what you have time to produce before the storm gets worse on you. Beavers want different things than harpies. Harpies want different things than lizards. And figuring out how to keep all of that content at the same time is honestly where a lot of the fun is going to live within the game. But I'm going to be, again, straight with everybody. The UI does get way overwhelming. You're going to be tracking species happiness, hostility levels, resolve mechanics all at once. And there were sessions where I just simply felt like I was managing a spreadsheet more than playing a game. It's not a bad design exactly. It's just a whole lot to manage if you're not used to this type of game. You want to talk about where the tension comes from? Here's what actually creates the tension in this game. You're constantly balancing the queen's impatience against the clock. She wants results. The storm's coming, and you're making calls under real pressure. That push and pull mechanic is where Against the Storm earns its keep. It's generally tense in a way a lot of city builders simply aren't. For players who push further, the game offers prestige levels. There's 20 of them in total, each stacking on a new modifier to raise the difficulty ceiling well past the first playthrough. I'm going to say straight up, there is a steep learning curve getting to that point. This is not a game that's going to hand you the systems easily. As gamers, we know it's very rare to call a game perfect, and when you think about Against the Storm, it's not perfect. And here's the one real complaint that I noticed as I played throughout the game. It is very text heavy, and there's a lot of reading, a lot of UI to parse. So if you're playing on a smaller screen, or if you've got any vision strain by 4 a.m., like sometimes I do get, that is going to be a real friction point. But the good news, the game does offer a font scaling option, which should help address any of those issues. The other thing I do want to touch base on, and this surprised me given how much I've enjoyed this game, starting a brand new settlement from scratch every 45 minutes or so can start to feel very repetitive after dozens of hours. The infinite replayability, though, is real. Biomes and blueprints and modifiers are going to keep things fresh, but there is a version of fresh that still rhymes with itself run after run. So do keep that in mind if you decide to proceed forward with Against the Storm. So, do I think the game is worth your time? Honestly, yeah, I had a great time with this game. The fantasy setting was pretty unique, managing the different needs of beavers and harpies and lizards, and the rest never got old for me. And that tension between the queen's impatience and the clock is some of the best pressure I've felt in a city builder. But again, I do want to be straight with you. This isn't a game that's going to be for everybody. If a steep learning curve, heavy RNG, and UI that asks you to track a lot of moving parts at once sounds exhausting rather than exciting, this game might not be for you. When I think about the base price, the current game is going at $8.99, and it is squarely in budget deal territory, even at full price. Runs can pause anytime, which matters a lot for anyone playing in short windows like I do, so you're never forced to push through a session that you just simply don't have time for. Let's talk about the final verdict and the score, and here's where I'm going to land with this. I'm going to give Against the Storm a 7 out of 10. I did have a great time with it. The setting and the tension and the replayability all generally worked on me as I played through the game. But between the learning curve, the RNG swings, and that UI overload, it's not a game that I can hand to just anybody and say, hey, you're going to love this game. 7 out of 10. It's still really good. It's just not going to be for everybody. So please be warned if you decide to buy it. That is my honest take on Against the Storm. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. I am trying to get myself to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not too far off. So do me a favor, tell all of your aunts, your uncles, and all of your friends. And also, it does give me the incentive to keep growing the channel, telling you about my experience with video games and just having the passion around the video game industry. Also, down in the comments, tell me about your prestige level, because I truly want to know how far did people push into this game. And also, if you're wondering where my Steam deals went, don't worry, they haven't gone anywhere. They're just going to be bi-weekly, if not maybe a little bit longer. But either way, you will always still catching me covering the big sales. And with that, guys, hit F5, reset, reload. I am F5 Dad. I'll see you on the next video.